Hi, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is the Performing Songwriter. My guest today is Mara Levine. Of Mara, Christine Lavin wrote, Mara Levine is one of the best singers of her generation. Every songwriter worth their salt should be sending her their tunes. She has such a beautiful, timeless quality to her voice, and she makes beautiful recordings. I just love what she does. Mara Levine is a New Jersey resident. Her second album, Jewels and Harmony, has received stellar reviews. Mara has played in many venues, festivals, and on radio programs. I'll be back shortly. We'll meet Mara Levine, learn more about her musical career, talk about the songs she sings and her performing. And we'll hear her perform several of her songs along with Dan Schatz. Mara.
Hi, Ray.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Well, I'm really excited to be here on the Performing Songwriter as a performing song interpreter.
Great. I gave you a little introduction there, but I thought maybe I could ask you how long you've been performing.
Wow, I've been performing on and off for about 20 years, I would say. And over since 2006, professionally out either doing things on my own or supporting other musicians.
Okay, great. Because we should say, well, you kind of already indicated it, you don't write songs. And people may be watching, this is a songwriting show. But I think most of us songwriters would like people to cover our songs. We all would, actually. And so, what's going to be interesting here is I'm going to ask you in a minute here what you look for when you pick a song to sing.
The first thing I want to say about that is when I hear a song, it usually hits me right away that this is a song that I would like to sing. Mm-hmm. On the first listen, it hits me, but it doesn't happen often, right? So I may listen to many, many songs, and I perform with a number of different songwriters. I go to conferences, I go to concerts, people give me their music. So every once in a while, you get a song that as soon as you hear it, boom, it's like it does one of a few things for me. It has a certain kind of melodic melody or melodicness to it, so I find it really pleasing. If it's discordant, I find it very difficult. For my own taste, I like things that are melodic, that I can harmonize to. Oftentimes it has a chorus that's very catchy. That is something that I want to sing along with that chorus. I'd like to sing that. And then the story of the song doesn't necessarily have to have a message or be political, but the song itself moves me in some way. I'm listening to the story and it touches me. I can relate to the story of the song. So those are things that are components of what would attract me to it. And, it's hard to say when you hear something and you're, the audience or another songwriter, you're listening to somebody sing a song, think about what it is that attracts you to that. So there are certain things that attract me to songs, and those are some of them. Then there are also I want to call them the childhood favorites, or the songs that you grew up with. That as you're listening to them, in my household, we listened to Simon and Garfunkel. So they became one of my very favorites and extremely influential in my work. Harmony singing, duos, trios.
Right.
And I recorded a couple of their songs too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think what you mentioned are, in general, the things you want to have in a good song. So that's great. And why don't we mention, you're going to sing, in fact, you're going to sing two songs in a minute here. What are some of the songwriters or singer-songwriters also that you have recorded or sing their songs in concert?
Well, I'm going to sing a couple of songs by Cy Khan today. One the very first song of his that I recorded called Wild Rose of the Mountain. And what I liked about that song is the song was written in the 1980s, but I like to sing music, traditional music and contemporary music, and the song sounds like a traditional song. The caliber of his writing is as such that the way he structured the song and the words and everything, you could be listening to a song that was written 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So that attracted me to that particular song, and I also enjoy the fact that it's an upbeat song. It's kind of a song that makes you feel good. The second song of Cy's that I will sing is a song that he actually wrote for my album. And in the process of working, I was fortunate enough to do some work with Cy-Con as a harmony vocalist. And he also had invited me to sing at a couple of performances with him, and had the opportunity to see me sing with various people, because I sing with a number of different people. Mm-hmm. And so in the process of that song writing, he actually was kind of interviewing me about my feelings about singing, what singing did for me. So he observed me singing and then asked questions about how it made me feel. And he incorporated all those things into the writing of the song, which is called When I Sing With You, which is about the joy of harmonizing together, of all of us harmonizing together.
What are some other writers that you maybe you're not going to sing today that you've covered their songs?
In terms of what I want to call popular folk,
or whatever,
anything. Well, Simon and Garfunkel, I covered a couple of their songs, and Bill Staines, I did his song River, which I absolutely love. Yeah. I also did a song called Killing the Blues by Roland Sally, which was a song that a good dear friend of mine named Howard Berkowitz used to cover, and I recorded that as a tribute to him, because he never had a chance to record it. He passed away early, unfortunately. So I did that song in kind of his arrangement, and I had another friend sing the lead on that one. Also, I have found a wonderful song called Hallelujah by a songwriter named Nancy Cassidy, and she's from the West Coast.
I've met her.
Yeah, she's a wonderful songwriter. And other friends of mine that I've covered their songs, songwriters, Pat Wichter, who I had the pleasure of doing some work with a number of years ago, who also recorded on the album. Recorded a couple of Broadway tunes, of all things, by my side from the Godspell soundtrack, Summertime from Porgy and Bess by Gershwin. I also recorded a couple of traditional songs on my first album, Stepstone and Lee Boy's Lassie. Those are traditional. Trying to think of some of the other songwriters that I've covered. Friends of mine. Well, one of them is going to be joining me here today, playing guitar and and banjo and accompanying me. His name is Dan Schatz. He wrote a song called Leave Time, which is also on my album. Bob Franke, one of my favorite songwriters. I did a song called Straw Against the Chill of his. There's a songwriter from Maine you may or may not be familiar with. His name is Judd Caswell.
No.
He had a terrific album out in 2006 called Blackberry Time, and I covered the title track called Blackberry Time. And again, the friends of mine that I've covered, I've met them through work situations, and I got a chance to work with him and hear that song, and I pulled that one into the repertoire.
So you have a nice mix.
There's a mix of a little traditional, contemporary, mostly contemporary songwriters from the 1960s to present, maybe heavily in the 60s and 70s, because I sort of grew up in that culturally.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to get Dan up here and set this up for you to do two songs, your first two songs. While we're doing that, our next two guests, same show, is Rusty and Jan from actually South Philly now. They live in
Wonderful.
South Philly. So we're going to listen to a little of their music while we set up, and then you'll be back.
Great. And they recorded one of the songs on my album with me, too, on the Killing the Blues song.
That's right.
At the Arms, I went to find my way in a younger day. At the Arms, I can remember back. My mind is on the track. At the Arms, I first met a girl. At the Arms, a young boy took a whirl. I found love at the Arms. At the shore.
This is Mara Levine, folk singer from New Jersey. I'm here with Dan Schatz, folk singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Dan is going to join me on guitar, banjo, and vocals. Our first song is Wild Rose of the Mountain by Cy-Con. If I had my life to lead, I'd surely live it over. Only walk in brand new shoes and just lay down in clover. Only work on Christmas Day and all the rest go sporting. Spend my days down at the creek and every night go courting. Honey from the honeycomb, sugar cane and wild rose of the mountain. When I think of home, sweet home, it makes my eyes grow misty. Papa singing gospel tunes and Mama sipping whiskey. Whiskey from the white oak barrel surely makes good liquor. Makes the night seem twice as bright and the days go by much quicker. Honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane and wild rose of the mountain. Honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane and wild rose of the mountain. If I had a new made quilt, I'd fill it all with feathers. Take my true love by the hand and lay down there together. Oh, for the days when I was young, thoughts they keep returning. Drive the winter night away just like a log fire burning. Honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane and wild rose of the mountain. Oh, honey from the honeycomb, water from the fountain, sugar from the sugar cane and wild rose of the mountain. All right, so our next song is going to be the song we talked about before, which is called When I Sing With You, written also by Saikon. And it's a great song about the joy of singing and harmonizing together. And usually when I sing it live, we teach the chorus to the audience so everybody can join in and sing along with us, which is really a lot of fun. Of course, we're not going to do that here, but feel free to sing along with us.
You can watch the video as many times as you want.
That's right. Okay, here we go.
All right.
When I sing with you, my heart skips a beat. That's what you never do. Your rhythm strong and sweet, each note precisely placed, no matter what the key. I begin to trust when you sing with me. When we sing together, I hear the world anew. When you sing with me, when I sing with you. When you sing with me, each note is fine and round. I lose all sense of time, lost within the sound. Our rhythms circle close, my truest voice breaks through. I am most alive when I sing with you. When we sing together, I hear the world anew. When you sing with me, when I sing with you. When I sing with you, when we harmonize, disappointment disappears, the half-truths and the lies, the hard times fall away, my deepest heart goes free. I am most myself when you sing with me. When we sing together, I hear the world anew. When you sing with me, when I sing with you. peace when I sing with you. When we sing together, I hear the world anew. When you sing with me, when I sing with you, and when we sing together, I hear the world anew. When you sing with me, when I sing with you.
Okay, so yeah, they were good songs. I like to hear you sing.
Thank you.
You've played a lot with groups of people,
Yes.
as opposed to, let's say, yourself with a guitar player or maybe just a cappella. And I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between playing in a group or singing in a group or doing a solo type performance?
And that's an interesting question because there is a big difference. Much less often I play out as a solo or as a solo with an accompanist. And part of the reason for me is because what I enjoy very much is having a lot of harmony and having that feeling of community and singing with people and the feeling that that produces. So the sounds that I hear in my head are the sounds of like multi-part harmony. If you want to sing out solo, basically it means just having another accompanist with you. Spare vocal arrangements, which can be done, and I do them from time to time. And I'll go out with one individual, or I do duo shows.
Okay.
Sometimes with a man named Terry Kitchen.
I know Terry.
From Boston.
He was on my previous show.
Yep. Dan Schatz, who's here with me today. Caroline Catronio and I sometimes
Right.
perform just the two of us, but a lot of times we put a group together. And then sometimes I go out with a group called Gathering Time. But for me, there's a lot of pleasure in working with a group, but it's also more work. You have to meet to rehearse more. And what I tend to do is, for my arrangements, I've actually created harmony tracks from the CD that I can give to the different people in the different groups I work with. So it makes it easier for them to learn the harmony parts. And it's really, really, for me, pleasurable to go into a performance setting and to have the vision that was in my head that went down on the recording. We can do it live. And, if I work with Gathering Time or with Caroline and my other friends like Barbara Novick and Nancy McCaldy, we can recreate those beautiful 4-part harmony sounds. And it's really pleasurable.
And the other thing, when you have a bunch of people, you have to arrange when you're going to practice
Yes.
and everybody is available, that kind of stuff.
It's tough, absolutely. If you want to get 1 or 2 rehearsals in before a performance, trying to organize everybody's schedules, where you're going to meet, people live in different locations. So it's a lot more work, and also financially, if you're counting on the income, you cut the money. We all split the money equally.
Yeah.
So it means that it's harder financially unless you can get a really great paying gig. And I think that's why a lot of folks go out, songwriters or whatever, go out solo, because they can, it's less time consuming and it's less expensive, and they can, earn more money that way.
It's hard to split $50.
Yeah, it is. And I'm trying to work on getting gigs that pay more so that we can all go home with more. Fortunately for me, most of the people I work with either have some kind of a full-time job or they're retired from good paying jobs and have some kind of a pension or something.
Right.
So that's less of a concern for them.
Sure.
And I sell my jewelry. I'm a jewelry designer
That's
also.
right.
Yeah.
And nice jewelry.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have you and Dan do 2 more songs.
Great.
And while we're bringing Dan up here again, I do this tutorial. I've been doing this tutorial on how to promote your music using video and the internet. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at the information on the tutorial that I've been doing on internet videoing, and then Mara and Dan will be back to do 2 more songs.
Okay, so the song that we're going to sing for you now is called The Dutchman. It's by Michael Peter Smith, and it's been done many times by many people. And the song is typically done in a narrative form, which is one person sings the song as if they're telling the story to you of this elderly Dutch man who's losing his memory and his partner, Margaret, who cares for him. And I decided I wanted to present the song as a duet and have it be that Margaret and the Dutchman were actually allowing you to see a glimpse of their life in their own words, singing that together. Dutchman's not the kind of man who keeps his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in.
But that's a secret only Margaret knows.
When Amsterdam is golden, in the morning Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him.
He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be.
But Margaret only sees that sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His cap and coat are patched with love that Margaret sewed in.
Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam. He watches tugboats down canals and calls out to them when he thinks he knows the captain. Till Margaret comes to take him home again.
Through unforgiving streets that trip him, though she holds his arm. Sometimes he thinks that he's alone, and he calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The windmills whirl the winter in. She winds his muffler tighter. They sit in the kitchen.
Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew. He sees her for a moment, calls her name.
She makes the bed up humming some old love song.
He learned it when the tune was very new.
She hums a line or two, they hum together in the night. The Dutchman falls asleep, and Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Let us go
Let us go to the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me.
So that was The Dutchman by Michael Peter Smith, and I was fortunate enough to have Cy Khan play the part of The Dutchman on my album, which was Jewels in Harmony, and I had some help arranging harmonies from Joe Jenks and Cy Khan, which was really thrilling. So the last song that we'll do for you in the set is actually written by Dan Schatz, and all the songs in our set have a Cy Khan connection because back in 2010, when I was doing some harmony work with Cy, he invited me to join him at a concert at the church that Dan is the minister of. And I was fortunate enough to meet Dan and heard him sing this song, which is called Leave Time. And then I subsequently acquired it for my album. So Dan's going to talk a little bit about the writing of the song, and I'll talk just briefly about the interpreting of the song before I sing it.
Well, it's very simple. It was just about 17 years ago, this time of year, right now when we're recording, it's May. And I was finishing my last paper in divinity school. As Mara mentioned, I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister. And I had just finished my last paper in graduate school. And all of a sudden, I realized that there was an outdoors, and it was beautiful, and spring was here. And I just kind of came alive and remembered at that moment what is important. And it's a song that I think seems to touch a lot of people because so many of us forget to leave time for the important things in life.
So Dan had recorded the song on which album of yours is it on?
That was on Bring the Morning Home.
Bring the Morning Home.
One.
And so when I told him that I wanted to record the song, I do lots of multi-harmony part arrangements, and he said, "Oh, I can imagine you having all this harmony," because he had a nice harmony chorus on the song. And I said, "Actually, no. Of most of the songs on my album, which do have harmony, I envisioned this song just me singing solo, quietly, kind of as reflectively at the close of the album, kind of tying everything together." My album has a lot of themes of seasons, the changing of the seasons. There's lots of seasonal songs on the album, so I think that this was a really terrific closer. So Dan came to the studio and played guitar for me, and I sang it solo, and that's how we're going to do it today.
It's a really neat thing as a songwriter to have somebody else interpret your song, and it's a good experience in letting go because Mara sings it very differently than I do, and makes it her own, and that's how it should be.
And I think it's all about, too, making sure that the songs are being kept alive and being passed on, because if you're the only person singing your song, then it's not being out there in the universe. And I think it's a job of not only songwriters but interpreters, all of us, to keep passing the music along, and that's really what the folk tradition's about. Leave time for the turning of the season. Leave time for the longing of the day. Time for the heart, time for the reason. Time for the quiet of the way. Come sit by my side and share a story, one of a love too deep to find, one of a sailor wending homeward, one of the echo of your mind. turning of the season. Leave time for the longing of the day. Time for the heart, time for the reason. Time for the quiet of the way. After the hurry comes the harbor. After the journey comes the rest. Trade rushing for the rushing of the waters. Through fields lined with burrows, banks and nests. Leave time for the turning of the season. Leave time for the longing of the day. Time for the heart, time for the reason. Time for the quiet of the way. May all your travels bring you comfort. May all your loving give you song. May all your learnings leave you open. May all your rambles lead you home. Leave time for the turning of the season. Leave time for the longing of the day. Time for the heart, time for the reason. Time for the quiet of the way. Time for the quiet of the way. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Mara.
Their songs are real nice too.
Thank you very
Right.
much.
You have a CD. Talk about your CD.
I will. My second CD is called Jewels in Harmony, and it came out in 2013. And there are 15 songs, and it's all contemporary from 1960s to present. And I think I mentioned before, on this particular album, there are some couple of Broadway show tunes. There are some what I call more popular folk songs like Simon and Garfunkel and River by Bill Staines.
Right.
And then I have songwriters, friends of mine, whose work is on there. Lots of harmony, beautiful, lush harmony arrangements. And it's called Jewels in Harmony because I'm also a jewelry designer.
Right,
and on each page of each of the booklet pages, there are pictures of the jewelry.
That's cool.
Along with
Yeah.
the lyrics, because I love for people to learn the songs so they can sing along. You can find it on my website. People can go to www.maralevine.com, MARALEVINE, maralevine.com. And my show schedule is up there, as well as you can digitally download the songs there, or you can order directly from me through the website. You can also order my albums. I have 2 of them, also Mara's Gems, on CD Baby. But I will say that CD Baby takes a much bigger cut. So if you ordered it directly through me, then I would get a bigger cut of that, which is always nice. And I can mention about the album that in 2013 it came out, and it turned out to be #1 on the folk chart for the month of January. And then for the end of the year, it was #3 overall on the folk chart, which is a folk DJ chart where DJs submit their playlists to a sort of I want to call it like a collection, a gentleman who collects them and processes them through a program and spits out a chart at the end of every month and then at the end of the year. So that was really totally very exciting.
That's hard to do, and you did it.
And I also did my own self-promotion, too. I didn't hire somebody to do that for me, so that was kind of very satisfying. So, people can go up and listen to samples of the album and maybe download it or purchase it. Be nice. Come to a live show.
Well, Mara, thank you very much for coming on, and also Dan for being here and playing and singing with you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a thrill for me to come on the Performing Songwriter.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll be back in about 2 weeks with our next show, Rusty and Jan. See you then.